So yeah, we have Colin coming to join us. Is that your question?
Yeah, you guys got a nice Florida kid coming up there.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about Colin. Connor Beebe turned me on to him. Connor was a high school teammate of mine back in high school. Seems like forever ago now, but turned me on to him, and we reached out and just kind of started talking about the program and what his plans were going to be for the future. And he's been great the whole way, and talking about the things that he wanted to study and what we can do for him here. And man, I haven't met the guy in person yet, but I love everything I've heard from him so far.
Hey, it's nice to see a Florida kid making some noise, getting up there, and going to get to experience some nice cold weather.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's necessarily looking forward to that part, but we're going to break him into it.
So you, as far as you're concerned, IHSA two-time state champion, three-time CCIW champion in college, a D3 All-American, I believe I was reading, correct?
Not quite. I didn't actually win any individual conference titles, CCIW titles as an individual. I was a runner-up a couple of times. We won probably what you're seeing, the titles we won are when I was the coach, the team titles when I was the coach. But no, and I've coached a number of All-Americans. We had 5 this year that were voted on because we didn't get to wrestle our tournament. But that's not something unfortunately, not something I accomplished on my own, but we're enjoying doing it as a coach.
Well, that's awesome. So now you're one of those colleges that have kind of stepped up and put women's on the map. You guys have a women's team there. So girls around the country, if they want to go to college, there's some opportunity there. Talk about your women's team, how amazing that is, how amazing women's wrestling has become. And I know you're a state just like we are that's trying to get it sanctioned as well.
Yeah. Man, this was our first year coaching women's wrestling. We're pretty excited about it. We kind of saw it coming. I think a lot of people see it coming now, but 2 years ago, I went to our athletic director and expressed an interest in doing it. We're fortunate here. Our athletic director actually was the head wrestling coach previously, so he takes pretty good care of us. So he got on board and he talked to the necessary people even higher up, in the administration, and we got it rolling. This was our first year. We had a smaller team. We had 9 girls this year. We took 8 of them to the national championships and had 5 All-Americans and 2 of them make the finals. So it was pretty exciting, good for a first year. And we're looking forward to, we'll have about 27, 28 girls on the roster in year 2 next year. So we're growing quite a bit, but we're excited for those girls and pursuing national titles and becoming one of the top teams in the country. We finished 6th at the national tournament in our first year. So, as far as Illinois, we're dragging our feet at the high school level a little bit, which is disappointing considering how strong of a wrestling state Illinois is. But, we're getting there. Lots of girls in the state doing it. We just need the IHSA to pull the trigger on sanctioning it still.
We need to get them to step up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry, man. Hey, TFWR, but very sorry to you, Coach Norton. I got to get myself focused here because I hate when this Zoom thing and all this stuff doesn't work, and then I lose my train of thought, and I'm like, damn, we're about to go hard on North Central Illinois wrestling, and then this thing throws me for a tilt. So sorry, I'm just trying to get focused. I always want to make sure that I share these interviews through like 20 or 30 different wrestling rooms. So I was trying to do that. A little more difficult when I don't know where I'm at, and I'm trying to get used to this. I'm glad that finally Facebook does allow me to invite somebody on because it's made it easy. So again, we're here with North Central Illinois wrestling coach. He's got a great program going up there. They've added women's. So talk about your men's team, talk about your year, and then going into obviously the end of the year, you couldn't finish up because of what happened, and how this has kind of affected your world up there.
Yeah, man, it was a good year for our men's team. We've come a long way from the 6 years ago when I took over as the head coach. But, this was a great year for us. We ended up 12-4 in dual meets and, qualifying 5 guys for the NCAA in the D3 championships, which was a record for our program, the most we've ever had. And we were actually about 15 hours from our weigh-ins We'd already been at the arena, practiced on the mats in the arena for 2 days. We had 3 seniors there. That was their first time qualifying. I was excited to see where we were going to finish out when we found that, obviously when we found out the unfortunate news that we weren't going to be competing, but, we're fired up to go back and just do even better than that next year, get 7, 8, 9, 10 guys to the national tournament to be All-Americans. So, we're putting a positive spin on it as much as we can. And, it stinks for those guys. It stinks for those guys that they didn't get to wrestle, especially the 3 of them that were seniors. But, they're doing good. They're putting a good perspective on it, and they're going to use it, as coaches someday, for perspective for their athletes, I'm sure.
Yeah, and motivation. You know what? Everybody's saying the same thing. I mean, I've talked to several different coaches, as you've seen on the platform, and everybody's in the same boat. So it's not like somebody had an advantage, They're all bummed out. They've all had – I mean, how about these kids that are fifth-year seniors that finally made the show and then unfortunately couldn't go? So, yeah, tough for all them, but it sounds like you had a great year. Other than that, you've got girls now competing at the national championship level. That's awesome. And with girls wrestling growing, man, that side might grow bigger than your men's side, huh?
Yeah, no, yeah, it really might. Like I said, we're going to be 27, 28 girls in year 2 of the program. So, the rate at which it's growing, we're recruiting very, very well. I have an awesome coaching staff that does a great job with recruiting. And, the goal was to get to 35, 40 girls, within 4 years. And I think we'll get there in our 3rd year. So that's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah. And you're one of how many schools now that has a girls program?
So in the NCAA, we're actually at 37, I believe, by my last count. So we need 40 NCAA programs to officially, apply for a championship, right? So we were granted emerging sports status from NCAA in divisions 2 and 3 back in January. And so now we have a window where we have to get to 40 programs. I mean, I think that's going to happen probably by the end of the summer, the way that things are going, which is exciting. And then, there's a process we have to go through to actually get our championship event. So as far as total between the NCAA, NAIA, junior colleges, I know it's well over 70 now, that have, as far as collegiate opportunities for women. I can't give you the specific number. I believe NCAA-wise, we're at 37 or 38 now.
Wow, good for you guys. And so coming up, you came out of Montini Catholic.
Yes.
That's a prep school, correct?
Yeah, that's a Catholic private school here in Illinois.
And that's isn't that where Connor went?
That's where Connor Beebe went. So yeah, we were Connor was 1 year ahead of me, and his brother Carson was 1 year behind me. So I was with the Beebes quite a bit. But yeah, I was with Connor for 3 years.
And
yeah.
What about Donnie Simpson? Wasn't he there?
Donnie was not at Montini. I think he may have coached there after he graduated. He was at a nearby high school. I can't remember now what high school that was.
Man, I love that guy. He's been a blessing to the kids down here in Florida.
Yeah.
And my son's been doing some privates with him. And my little son got his first private in with him, but then this whole thing happened. So he's definitely been a blessing. What do you think it's going to mean to national preps to get a Florida school in there now with the addition of Lake Highland Prep?
Oh, I think it's going to be awesome. I just saw that news yesterday. I'd like to see more of these programs go that route and just see, I'm a big fan of let's put all the best kids together. Let's put all the best teams together and see how it shakes out, right? That's the exciting stuff from a fan standpoint. But, I know there's a lot of schools that go through, they don't want to give up the opportunity to wrestle for a state championship, right, if they're doing that. So, but I think it's exciting to see Lake Highland doing that. I don't know if that's something that Montini's discussed at all, but it'd be interesting to see how that affects maybe other programs considering to do that moving forward.
It'll be nice, too, for these state kids to see those prep schools in Florida wrestling against Lake Highland Prep because they're going to have to come here, too. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure it'll be nice to see those schools come into town. And how do you think it'll grow Florida wrestling?
Oh, I think it'll be good for Florida wrestling. I believe the head coach at Lake Highland, I don't know his name, but I believe he's from this area. I believe he went to Glenbard North High School, which is down the road from me.
Mike Palazzo.
Okay. He's an Illinois guy originally?
Yeah, Illinois guy from what I understand, and then he wrestled at IU.
Okay. Yeah.
Indiana University, not Illinois
Okay.
University.
Right. Okay. He's not someone I've ever had the chance to meet, but I've seen him. Obviously, they come up to the Dvorak, which is our big time tournament here in Illinois, and I know they've been out at the Ironman and all that stuff as well. But I think that's huge for Florida wrestling that they're going to do that. Absolutely.
Cool. And as far as Florida wrestling on a larger scale, how much have you seen it grow, or on a national level? How many more Florida kids are you seeing kind of in the mix at these big tournaments, and when you're recruiting and when you're talking to people around the country?
Yeah, more and more. I mean, it helps for me that I've got obviously Connor Beebe down there who, like I said, turns me on to a kid like Colin Mohina. And Blake Olson's a guy that wrestled for me that's down there at Strawberry Crest. So down in that area, we were recruiting a girl that wrestled for Coach Blake this year. 3-4 years ago, I wasn't talking to kids from Florida. That wasn't happening, So I think it's a mix of different things. I think maybe Florida wrestling's getting better, right? And I think that, obviously myself having some connections down there is going to help us. But I know Coach Omi at Life pretty well. And I know he's kind of had free reign on the Florida kids. So I'm going to start challenging for some of these better Florida guys here. I'm at least going to call them and make them consider another school if they're going to choose Life.
Yeah, I mean, look, he sent me a T-shirt.
Right. I'm going to have to get you a North Central T-shirt. I actually sent Coach Omi a North Central hat and T-shirt last summer because you was telling me you didn't have any North Central gear. But I'm still waiting on my Life stuff. He hasn't sent me anything yet.
Yeah, send it. I'll wear it. I'll wear it on the show. He sent me
All right, man. Good stuff.
Look. He sent me a hat.
Here we go. Yes. Yeah, we'll get you some North Central stuff.
You know what? He's pretty smart because he made sure it came in before his show so that I wore all that gear while I was on the show.
Yeah, I got you. All right.
He's
all right.
a good dude, man. And
yeah.
Connor Beebe's a good dude, man. I feel like I've been like the platform for his Central Michigan wrestling team. I've had his coaches. I think I've had everybody that wrestled for him or with him.
Sure, Scotty Sentes, all those guys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's been fun, man. It's been fun. Yeah. Hey, so I'm glad we're kind of getting focused here. It's been good. So it looked like when you first started coaching at North Central, am I reading this right? You weren't kind of hired as a coach. You were still kind of an athlete there or something, or you were kind of transitioning from being the wrestler to the coach. Yeah.
So I started off as a grad assistant. So we have an awesome program here at North Central where you can get your master's degree while you're coaching, right? So, some grad assistant programs are a little bit different. We're fortunate here at North Central where it includes total tuition remissions. You actually go to school for free, while you're coaching. So my master's degree was in sports leadership, which obviously prepared me to go on and be a coach, right? So I did that right away, and I had to make that somewhat awkward transition from athlete to coach of the same team. So guys that I was buddies with, teammates with, roommates with, and all of a sudden I was an assistant coach on the staff. So
that's tough.
That can be challenging, but I must have navigated it somewhat well. And, I loved it enough that I wanted to pursue coaching as a career then.
So talk a little bit about now the core values of your program and what you kind of instill in North Central Illinois wrestling.
Yeah, well, we want to win, but what I tell each of our guys and now our girls too is that as much as you win here, it's about what you're going to do for the next 60, 70, 80 years of your life when you get out of here. So, I'm a big believer that the reason you go to college is to prepare you for the rest of your life. You're going to get a degree in something, and we have guys and girls that major in all different things. We have accounting majors and business majors and education and pre-nursing and everything, right? So I don't care what field you're going into. My job is to prepare you to go out and kick butt, in that career, right? So what I tell our kids is, man, you can come here and win 4 national titles and be undefeated and never lose. And everybody's probably going to love you. I'll for sure love you, right, if you do that. But, if you get out of here and you were barely eligible the whole time and you were a crappy teammate and just a pain in the ass for your coaches to deal with, and we didn't actually really learn anything, amongst all those wins, when we get out of here, we didn't really actually accomplish anything for you in your life. And that's when you get the guy in the back of the bar talking about how cool he was back in college winning national titles. But, everybody's like, dude, where's your job? Where's your wife? Where's your kids? Right? Like, what we want to do is prepare you to obviously win a lot of wrestling matches. But when you get out of here, man, you've learned the life skills that I think college can teach you, but it's specifically wrestling, like leadership and taking directions and working as part of a team and meeting a deadline, because that's the stuff your boss is going to want you to be able to do. Your wife's going to want you to be able to do, for the rest of your life when you get out of here. So we hold them to a pretty high standard, and that's the goal. That's the idea, is when you get out of here, you're ready to, you kicked butt in wrestling while you were here, and then you're going to kick butt as a teacher, a nurse, an accountant, whatever it is that you're doing next.
And go watch the Cubbies.
Right. Yeah, we got a lot of Cubs fans here, man. My family's actually from Wisconsin originally, so I'm a Milwaukee Brewers fan. So sometimes it's tough when the Brewers have actually gotten the better of them the last couple of years, but 2016 was rough, let me tell you.
That's a cool stadium.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So talk about that. Would kind of transition us to the next question I would ask is, how do you keep them focused on both at a high level? So academic wise and athletic wise.
Yeah. Well, the first thing we do is we require study hall hours for every freshman. I know that's not the most exciting thing in the world, right? They want to come here to wrestle, but what we do is every freshman in our program, guy or girl, we mandate that they do 6 hours of study hall, every week. And what I think it provides for them is a set time to get their homework done. And I think what we learn when they first get here, what they learn when they first get here, is that college is a lot less structured than your high school life was. Most high schools, you're going to go to class all day from about 8-ish to 3-ish, right? And then you're going to go to practice and go home. You're going to do your homework, eat dinner, go to bed, right?
Right.
Next day is the same schedule. But, a lot of times you get to college, your schedule has a lot more free time during the day. Maybe you have class from 8 to noon and then you're done for the day. Or you have a 3-hour break between classes. Or, a lot of our guys and girls will set up their schedule to where they only have class on campus Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So what are you doing all day Tuesday, Thursday? Are we taking naps and playing video games and chasing girls? Or are we going to the library and studying and meeting a tutor, or coming down and watching film and getting an extra workout in, right? So what we think the study halls do is they provide a set time where I know, you choose when you get your 6 hours done. But if I know Dan gets his 3 hours on Tuesday night from 7 to 10 and 3 hours on Friday night from 7 to 10, right? And that will provide some structure for you. Here's when I study and here's when I get stuff done. Because we've all been that guy that's playing video games at midnight in the dorms, and then you remember you got a 10-page paper due tomorrow, right? So, this hopefully keeps that to a minimum as much as possible.
That's awesome. So now when you get out on the recruiting trail, what are some of the intangibles that you're looking for in a kid that in your program? Obviously, you have a culture you're building there and expectations. So just a talented wrestler is not all you're looking for, I'd imagine.
Yeah, right. Especially at the college level, I think that's a hard lesson that a lot of kids learn. And we're seeing it with our women too, because I think you can get by a little bit more in high school with being talented, right? But pretty much everybody that goes on to wrestle in college is talented, right? So it's going to be the other things that are going to separate you. So things that I look for, obviously we want talented kids, but I want to watch you battle adversity, because I think that's a lot of what college is about. And I want to watch you, down by a point in the third period and see what you're doing to try and score. I want to watch you maybe get screwed over by the ref and see what your response to that is, right? Do you bitch about it the whole time, or do you find a way to win anyway?
At the end of a match, how do you react?
Right. How coachable are you? Are you looking to your corner and do you seem like someone that's receptive to coaching? That's the stuff that we're looking for, because those are the, it doesn't matter what program you go to. Those are the, the guys and girls that are going to be successful, are the ones that can be coachable, the ones that can battle adversity and find ways to win, even maybe when the deck is stacked against them, right? So that's what we're looking for, really.
How have you, that's hard to do for kids, because I know even sometimes when I talk to my son and some of those kids, they'll say, man, when I'm wrestling, I can't hear anybody. And not even the coaches. Like, it's just, you're so into it, right? And
yeah.
And I guess what do you guys do? You kind of train yourself to maybe that's the only voice that you've programmed into your head to hear, because it's got to be tough when you're out there focusing.
Yeah, we definitely have guys especially that are, I can tell there are guys that they're hearing me. I can tell there are guys that I can hear a damn word I say when they're out there. That's just how it is, man.
You got to raise your voice a little bit, right? When you hear.
Right. No. Our best guy probably coming in last year was Cody Baldus, is a 3-time finalist in Illinois, state champ. qualified for nationals as a freshman at 184, lost in the blood round. And then this year he was the 3 seed when the tournament got canceled. But he's a guy that, he's going to be competing for a national title his last 2 years. He has told me, like, I don't hear a damn thing you say to me. Like, it doesn't matter how many times you say it. It doesn't matter how loud you say it. And he always looks at me and he'll nod his head. And I'm like, I know you're not listening. It's not registered, right? But the guy wins, right? So our goal with a guy like that is just to make sure he's as prepared as possible when he goes on the mat. Because when he goes on the mat, if he's not a guy that can make that connection to what I'm saying and going and doing it, he's going to do what he was going to do when he stepped foot on the mat. So you try and make sure he's as ready as possible.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, because I got to imagine I see kids all the time and the coach is screaming and then screaming louder and getting louder so that they can be receptive. So yeah. I got a really good question, and correct me if I'm wrong with this. A lot of people have said that D3 schools are having a tough time in the recruiting game for funding purposes to help out with school, and scholarships aren't as prevalent, I guess, with the D3. So what are you, when you're talking to kids, not so much kids, the kids want to go wrestle wherever, right? But I'm sure parents are saying, hey, it's my pockets, it's my money, it's what I'm paying for. How are you able to say, hey, look, we'll help them out, and what are you doing to help these kids out financially? Is that a question you can answer?
Oh yeah, that's a great question, man. I love that question. So across the board in Division III, there's no athletic scholarships. All right. So if you got someone from an NCAA school telling you they're on a wrestling scholarship, either A, they're lying, or B, that school is breaking some rules. So at North Central, we obviously we don't do that, right? None of our kids, we have I think we're up to 8 kids now that have wrestled in the IHSA state finals, right? Whether they won or lost, but each of those guys especially was getting wrestling scholarships, in their package offered from various schools, right? Whether it's D1, D2, NAIA. And so we have to find ways to be competitive financially with those other schools, right? Especially with the women now. There's so many schools out there in women's wrestling, and we're recruiting girls that, are maybe multiple-time Fargo All-Americans, right? Fargo champs. Where on the guys' side, those guys are looking at, primarily Division I schools, right? So you got to find ways to be competitive in recruiting those girls too. And at North Central, we do a pretty good job. Our academic scholarships range from $19,000 to $26,000. So right away, as long as you qualify for one of those, a lot of the guys, especially that we're talking to, that's more money they're getting in a wrestling scholarship anyway, right? It's always going to be hard for me to compete with a true full ride, right? No one will ever go to North Central for free, and full rides don't exist here. But between obviously your academic scholarship to start, and then we can do grants on top of that. Colin's an example of a good kid, that was getting athletic scholarships offered from a couple different schools, right? So he's a good student. He qualified for an academic scholarship, and there were a couple of grants that he qualified on top of that, and we're able to make it affordable for him, right? And sometimes the kid has to decide that he's willing to pay a little bit more maybe to come to North Central than another school, right? And that's where we sell our location. Naperville's a great place. Obviously, the history that we have and the trajectory of our program and where we're headed. We have a great facility. So you got to kind of sell the program a little bit more, maybe, if a kid's going to pay a little bit more money.
In all reality, what percentage of college wrestlers are getting full rides, even if it's D1? Complete full 100% rides. You got to be a blue chipper, right? So it's not like everybody on the Ohio State team is not on a full ride. Everybody on the Iowa team is not on full. So I think you just got to make a decision for yourself academically. Where am I going to be a better fit at for my future, right? Well, that's good to know, because you don't hear that often, and you hear the difference between a kid picking an NAIA school and a D3 school. A lot has to do with that. So maybe they don't know about the academic scholarship side of it. So that's good to hear for them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a swing at these 10 questions without being able to pull them up on my phone.
All right, man.
I got you on here. So you're down by 3 going into the third period. Do you go top, bottom, or neutral?
Me?
Yes.
I'm down by 3. I'm going bottom. I got to get an escape and take down and hopefully take this thing to overtime. So
that's what they all say, except for who did I have yesterday? I think I had Campbell, and he was a top kid, so he said I like going top. But he's the only one. All right, folk style or freestyle?
You know what? If you'd have asked me this question a year ago, I'd have told you folk style because I'd never coached freestyle. Now that we have the women's team, freestyle. Like, hands down, it's not close. So much more fun to coach, so much more fun to wrestle. In my opinion, I love it, man.
Awesome. Yeah. Headgear or no headgear?
No headgear. Hate headgear. Hate headgear.
In the rematch, Swain or Shoop?
Oh, Swain every time. He's just tougher, man. He's just tougher. Not physically, but mentally, maybe.
But mentally. All right, let me keep going here. Let's see. What was the next one? What's more dominant, a pin or a tech?
Oh, that's a tough question. So I know the argument is always, you know, a pin is the pinnacle of wrestling. That's what we're here to do. But when we're talking about dominance, it's a tech fall. I mean, if you literally beat someone by 15 points, you know, or in freestyle by 10 points, like, you dominated them, right?
Yeah.
You could be losing by 14 points and pin them, and that doesn't necessarily mean you dominated them.
I like it. Wings or burger?
Oh, wings. I'm a wing guy, man. My staff and I, every time we go to anywhere when we're traveling, we'll take the team to the hotel, we'll get them checked in, you know, team meeting, whatever. Wings every time. Wings every time after that.
Love it. Popeyes, Chick-fil-A?
Oh, I'm a Chick-fil-A guy. I love it. We finally got one in Naperville here probably about 3 years it's been now. But, yeah, we didn't have that much up here, and I love that stuff. Oh, it's awesome.
Chicken tenders or chicken nuggets?
Nuggets. I'm a nugget guy, I think. I don't know. That's a good question. Probably nugget guy. Yeah.
Have you been to New York City?
I've been there. Yeah. First time I
Okay.
actually went was for NCAA championships at Madison Square Garden. So, man, that was
so
cool.
I can ask this question then. And this is the first time I've ever asked this question because you're in Chicago. A Chicago hot dog or a New York City hot dog?
Oh, man. I didn't have one when I was there. But I have a hard time believing that anything's better than an actual true Chicago dog, man. That's top notch.
With the pepperoncinis on there. And
everything, man.
And I've always been a ketchup guy, but when I go there, all the signs say, there's no ketchup here.
You know, ketchup on a Chicago dog. Nope. That's the deal, man. Yep.
So a Philly cheesesteak or a what's that sandwich you have where they dip it? That roast beef sandwich that they dip
we call it
Chicago.
a French dip, man. That's good stuff. But I've never had a true Philly cheesesteak. My dad lived in Philadelphia for about a year and a half, and he would tell you that it's second to none. So I've never been able to try a true Philly cheesesteak.
What's that
myself.
thing? What's it called? Portillo's, I think, is a place I went to.
Yeah,
and
our
they
beef
took
and mozzarella from Portillo's. Oh my God.
Yeah, they like dipped it and they made it wet or whatever.
Yeah, you get the hot peppers on that sucker. Ooh, baby.
Yeah. At first, I was like, I don't want you to put my sandwich in water. What the hell are you doing?
No,
so,
it's good, man.
But I had to try it, man. I had to try it. And
Mm-hmm.
then what did they have? They had that like, oh man, I'm a fat guy. They had like that chocolate cake shake or whatever.
Oh yeah. You gotta get a cake shake. You can't go to Portillo's and not get a cake shake, brother.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
good stuff, man.
That helps my titties.
I gotta run 6 miles after one trip to Portillo's, man.
I love it. Hey man, I'm sorry about the delay coming on, but I had a blast, man. And please send anybody my way that you think would be good for the show.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. We're hoping to get into Florida more. Like I said, I can't let Omi just have his run of the litter down there. So we're gonna keep calling these Florida kids, guys and girls. You know, if they're interested, come check us out. So
I will. Yeah, it's got little hometown in Georgia or a little hometown in Illinois, right?
That's right, man. That's right. Yep. Yep.
All right, buddy. Hey, thank you so much, and I hope this thing works. I think it worked. So, hey, man, I appreciate you. As soon as I'll send you the video when I put it on YouTube.
All right, man. Hey, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy.